Greetings, Arts Beatniks. It's the KC Arts Beat Report. I'm Patrick Neas. And today we're going to be talking about some brassy choral music with our good friend William Baker. They have a big concert coming up. Mark this date, April 19th. It's at 3 p.m. at St. Mary's Episcopal Church. We're going to talk to him about that concert, which sounds really interesting, in just a second. But first, I'd like to ask you, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. And also subscribe to the KC Arts Beat Substack and follow us on Facebook and like this video. And please share it with someone you know who likes brass music or choral music. And please leave a comment below. It really helps our algorithm, as they say. But right now it's time to say hello to William Baker of the William Baker Festival Singers. Bill, it's always great getting to talk to you.
Patrick, it's always great to be on the show, and I appreciate everything that you and KC Arts Beat do to promote and support, to encourage and empower great music in our city.
Well, thank you so much for that, Bill. And of course, we have a mutual admiration society because I really do love everything you do. And what you do goes way beyond concerts, and we'll have to talk about that more sometime. We've talked about it a little bit in the past, but it really, your educational work, your work bringing music to far-flung parts of the world, it's just really remarkable. But today we're going to talk about a concert you've got coming up on April 19th, 3 p.m., St. Mary's Episcopal Church, downtown Kansas City. Bill, give us the official name of the concert.
Well, the concert, we're calling it Music for Brass, Organ, and Choir, which is probably not the most inspirational or creative, lofty title, but it is our annual Masterworks concert that the Festival Singers does. And over the years, we've done some pretty spectacular things. We've done the St. Matthew Passion twice, the Brahms Requiem, a number of the Beethoven Ninth. We've done a number of large pieces with large orchestra. This concert will focus on music, as we said, for chorus, brass, percussion, and organ. And the annual concert, this is the 14th one, is called the Kenneth Babcock Memorial Concert. Ken Babcock was one of the patron saints of the Choral Foundation and the Festival Singers early in our development, and without his generous support, without his creative input, without his faith in our mission, without his constant, enthusiastic, I dare say, fervent encouragement, the Choral Foundation, the Festival Singers would not be what they are today. So this concert, he loved Masterworks, and this concert memorializes him and offers a tribute to all that he has done for our organization and for choral music in Kansas City.
Wonderful. It sounds like he's very deserving of a tribute like this. Well, I was looking over the program, I noticed a couple of composers I'm familiar with and several I'm not. So this is going to be kind of interesting. And the whole idea of combining brass with choral music sounds great to me. Why don't you kind of lead us through, what the program is?
I'll do that. The first piece on the program will be conducted by my associate music director, Christine Freeman, and it's William Matthias's, an English composer of the 20th century. His most famous work, Let the People Praise Thee, which was composed for the wedding of Charles and Diane in 1981. The piece is considered to be the one choral work that had the most people witness the premiere, over 1 billion people,
Whoa.
because of the huge television audience that watched the wedding of Charles and Diane or Diana. And it is a great piece. Obviously, the wedding didn't work out so great, but the piece of music has become a staple with finer church choirs and concert stage. The second piece on the program is called My Shepherd, and it's a setting in Hebrew and English, mostly of Psalm 23 and some words from Psalm 150 by our own composer and resident, Sean Sweden. It was written in honor of the Summer Singers of Kansas City's 25th anniversary, but it was premiered by the Festival Singers in November of 24. and this is really only the second performance of it. It is a profoundly beautiful setting, really lush, rich harmonies in the My Shepherd section, and a thrilling ending. You just got to hear it to see how just amazingly cool it is. And Sean Sweden has been a wonderful addition to our staff for the last few years as composer in residence. Zoltan Kodály, setting of Laudes Organi. It is a 12th century sequence in praise of the organ. And I can't really imagine what a pipe organ must have been like in the 12th century,
Oh.
but Kodály set this very unusual poetry in Latin, of course. It was commissioned by the Atlanta chapter of the American Guild of Organists for a national convention held in Atlanta in 1968.
Oh, interesting.
It's really Kodály's last major composition. He did not live to see the premiere, but it was a thrilling thing for the Atlanta AGO. And I had the privilege in 2008 to conduct for a regional convention of the American Guild of Organists, also held in Atlanta, to conduct the 40th anniversary of the piece. And I've been a champion of Laudes Organi for many years, and it's for chorus and organ alone. Glenn Rudolph is a Pittsburgh-based composer. Was commissioned by the Bach Choir of Pittsburgh to do a setting of a poem, and I'm going to find the poet here. But it's The Dream Isaiah Saw. The poet is Thomas Traeger. Really a profound, sweet, and beautiful expression of the desirability of peace, and not just peace among nations, but peace in the heart. And the premiere happened near the time of the 9/11 terrorist attacks, and the piece is dedicated to those who perished in the terrorist attacks. And it is for brass, organ, and chorus. Richard Dirksen, who for a time was the music director organist of the National Cathedral, has done a festive setting on the Easter theme called Christ Our Passover for brass, organ, and choir. I've sung it when I was a young staff singer at the cathedral, the Catholic Cathedral in Atlanta. I've only conducted it once, and it was a mass choir festival kind of thing that honestly didn't go very well. So I'm looking forward to doing this piece that I have cherished for a half a century, doing it with a fine choir and fine brass and fine organ. And then, of course, we end the concert, we culminate it with the Gloria of John Rutter, which was his first American commission for Mel Olson in Nebraska in 1976 is when he wrote it. And I first conducted it at 23 years old in 1982
Wow.
and have enjoyed the piece. It's just festive, cool, rhythmic, and fun.
Uh-huh. That sounds great. Now, I want to get back to Kodai because,
Okay?
I think most people know his Hari Janos suite, but
Yes.
that's about all they know. And I tell you, he has written lots of choral music. I have like probably 5 or 6 CDs of, choral music by him. A lot of it for children, a lot of it for female choir, mixed choir, and it's all so delightful. I love his choral music.
It really is great. And I would recommend for the listeners to check out his Missa Brevis. It's just a profound work, and I've not done it yet, but I will do it. And another piece of his that is just amazing in a good English translation is called Jesus and the Traders.
Huh.
It's everything that could die in many respects is like Benjamin Britten. Everything that he touched just was wonderful. And
Yes.
every time I do one of his pieces, I think I got to do more of this.
Yes. Well, I hope you do, and I know you will. Uh, John Rutter, I think people who might not, who aren't really steeped in choral music may not know the name, but I know they've heard his songs, especially at Christmas time. The Shepherd's Pipe Carol, the Candlelight Carol. I mean, the list goes on and on. He has added to the choral repertoire probably more than anybody else in the 20th century. Would you agree with that?
Oh, absolutely. And John Rutter has written an ocean of music. Those sweet Christmas carols that he's done, or Christmas choral pieces that he's done, are beloved by church choirs and community choruses. He has done some works that I think are quite profound. The Festival Singers, our group in Atlanta, was privileged to do the first American recording of the Requiem, which has some profound moments. He has it's one of the Christmas pieces that's lesser known, but his setting of What Sweeter Music is by far my favorite. And my absolute favorite piece of John Rutter it's for large orchestra and chorus is The Falcon, which is one of his earlier compositions. And sometimes choral listeners may not know John Rutter is one of the world's leading musicologists. His research on the Allegri Miserere Me and his edition of it is the definitive edition, as is his research and his definitive edition of the Fare Requiem.
Yes.
He's a brilliant man.
He really is. And the Gloria is a glorious work. It's just meant for, the text is just meant for John Rutter to set.
It's true. It really is.
Yeah, because he seems to be such an upbeat guy. I mean, I know he's written things like the Requiem and stuff like that, stuff that is a little on the darker side. But overall, his personality and temperament seems to be really optimistic and joyful. At least that's what I
I
get.
think that's very true. It's musical. John Rutter, as I understand it, has suffered some tragedies in his life, but he has still managed to reflect a deep and abiding faith, hope, and optimism, as you said.
Well, it's a great way to end the concert. You always do such a great job programming your concerts because, you give people familiar things that they can really hang on to and appreciate. And then you kind of push the envelope a little bit with more new things, not necessarily challenging, but you definitely expand our horizons. And it sounds like this concert, you're really going to do that with so many different composers, Dirksen and Rudolph. Those are two I'm not familiar with, and of course Sean Sweden. Freshly written works from your composer in residence. So bravo to you for putting together these really well thought out programs.
Well, thank you, Patrick. I think with the festival singers, with our mission, with our commitment to primarily sacred music, when I assemble programs, I like to work first from the text. And so the program begins with the Matthias from the Psalms, "Let the people praise thee, O God," and of course it ends with a glorious Gloria Patri, where uh, the organ and the choir are in a two against three thing that just there's a place where there's a grand pause and they come into this movement toward the end that is so exciting. I mean, it's it quickens your pulse. So that piece ends with the Gloria Patri and then ending the concert with the Rutter Gloria, which is
Uh-huh.
the setting of the full Gloria from the ordinary of the Mass. And then everything else in the program fits into that.
Uh-huh.
That's the bookends, and the rest of the program fits in together.
Yes. Yeah, well, it's terrific. And also, we have to mention after the concert, now, most people have milk and cookies, but this is an Episcopal church. So you're having wine and cookies.
Well, people that know me well know that some people call me a wine enthusiast. Some people call me the wine hog. But many people call me a wine snob. So we will have a wonderful French Bordeaux, and we will have a wonderful Italian Pinot Grigio for everyone to enjoy because Bill Baker does not do chump change wine.
No, you do not. And I take it you have sampled these wines with cookies, so you know that that's a good match.
Well, my wife is the best cook I've ever encountered in my life, and I have sampled many in my nearly 70 years. And a lot of the cookies will be made by her, and they will not be forgotten.
Oh, it sounds terrific. What a great afternoon this is going to be, starting at 3 p.m. at St. Mary's Episcopal Church on April 19th. Music for brass, choir, and organ. And we haven't mentioned the organist, Bill.
The organist is Jacob Hoffling, and he is one of the most brilliant, gifted, fun to work with, cool human being, flaming fingers and flying feet organist I have ever worked with. He is a great guy and a fantastic musician, and what a blessing that we have him in Kansas City.
And St. Mary's has a fairly recently refurbished organ too, right?
It does. I don't know enough about organs to comment intelligently on what has been done, but I do know that it has a lovely enchant and it has more than two divisions, I'm sure. It is a fantastic instrument, and it is beautifully set for that space. And of course, acoustically, St. Mary's is one of the finest acoustical spaces in Kansas City, particularly in a sacred place. And St. Mary's is one of the most stunningly beautiful worship and concert places in this region.
Very atmospheric.
Yep.
How can people get tickets?
They can get tickets in advance at festivalsingers.org/concerts. It'll take you to our concert page with all of the Choral Foundation events, or you can purchase there. And of course, they will be available at the door. And tickets for this concert are $30 all seats.
So, calling all music lovers, calling all wine snobs, this is the concert for you.
That's right.
So, get your tickets now, festivalsingers.org. William Baker, it's always a delight, as you know. You're always welcome on the show, and I appreciate you taking the time to come on it today.
Thank you, Patrick, for your friendship and for your great work, beautiful writing, and just all the fun that we have.
We do have a lot of fun. Yes, we do. Well, thank you so much. You've been listening to the KC Artsbeat Report. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't already, and like this video. Leave a comment below. Maybe tell Bill that he doesn't know what he's talking about with those two wines he mentioned. Or maybe explain what enchant means. What was that word, Bill?
It's enchant. Enchants are the trumpets that are in the back of the church that come out of the organ. When my oldest son was a little boy, he looked at them and thought they were potato shooters.
I see.
But they're actually pontifical trumpets on the organ that are played from the rear of the nave.
All right. Well, thank you for that explanation. So yeah, leave us a comment. It helps with the algorithm. Like this video, subscribe to our Substack, follow us on Facebook. I'm Patrick Neas, and I hope you'll join us next time for the KC Artsbeat Report.